Hello fellow cultivators, this video we are going to give you 6 tips to play as a Rogue Cultivator in Tale of Immortal. And this video is only there because of the recent patch, and which is basically the first tip I was going to tell you about. Because if anyone asks me what is the tip you will give to a Rogue Cultivator in Tale of Immortal before the 10 patch, my only tip will be don't do it. Because it is such a pain and you lack a lot of game content and it's just meaningless, a lot of RNG, a lot of save and load, and just super slow. However, because of the recent patch and the first tip I'm going to give you, now it actually becomes much more easier. So without further ado, let's start with tip number 1. Learn skills from your master. I know I already had a separate video just a few days ago talk about this, but this is so important. And the main thing is you can learn skills from your master, and this includes all the skills he's equipping as well as all the mind skills. And note that you can learn a skill about 2 realms higher than your current realm. For example, this person who is my master, he has an enlightenment martial skill. Look at damage, 1000, okay? And me is a North and Soul. And just look at my origin spirit martial skill is 100. Imagine I can learn this skill from him, equip it, and how easy this game will become. And not mentioning, I could also learn mind skills like a good enlightenment move to add attack. And don't forget, just like what I talked about in that video, don't forget to pass your Dao seed to your master so that he will become first a paragon, but after 10 months he will become a heaven chosen, which means he will get all the red skills for you to choose to teach you to. And this basically, let's say, open a whole new path, which is Rogue Cultivator. And the main reason, let's think about what is the main problem that you have at Rogue Cultivator. You do not have a sect, which means you do not have sect pavilion, you do not have all this stuff, basically skill fruits, manuals, and you do not have ways to improve your cultivation level. And for example, this character, North and Soul, and I have absolutely horrible martial arts and spiritual rules. However, this does not prevent me to learn all the skills from my master. And this is why you can see that I have this kind of martial skills or in origin spirit, even though my fist is much lower. And if I directly learn anything from a menu like this guy, look, it requires you a skill reach 273. I will never be able to reach this if I'm playing a Rogue Cultivator within the 11 years. So yeah, most important tip, learn skill from a master. Alright. Tip number 2, which is wait for this event which grant you directly from Foundation to Chikanization. And basically it's a Master's event. And this event can be triggered if you are at Foundation, anytime, any stage in Foundation, and probably year after 5 or 6, depending. Normally someone says just after year 5 is always can be triggered, or it just takes a lot of time waiting and probably save and load, but that's how it is, how this game works. However, when you're at Foundation, you roam around in Yoni region or in Laser region, you will have this chance to trigger this event where have 2 transcendent cultivators start fighting each other, and one of them will fail, and she or he will ask you to become, his disciples, and he will sort of give you the 50 years, this limit to reach reborn and save her from a body reconstruction pill. A lot of people asking on the Discord and everywhere asking, should I take it? Should I take it not? 50 years, that sounds a big limit. I don't want a clock behind me. Well, first of all, 50 years to reach reborn, that is very, very generous time in this game. And if you know how to play the game, even at the Chaos, you can reach it in 20 years, 25 years, pretty easily. And second, if you actually take this event and read the dialogue, you will realize that no, she does not give you the 50 years limit at all. She basically, it's just want someone who takes the same Rogue Cultivator path. So this tip is more important if the first tip was not there. This because the main reason is because it grants you fruits, root fruits, let's call it that way. And this was added one patch before the Carrion patch, basically the Gourd patch. And you can see that the developers really try to make the Rogue cultivators become more and more viable, okay? So this grants you this fate when you break through, and it's called Unfettered Cultivator. Basically, it allows you to have 50% chance when you cultivate in the chi, spots, you will gain some fruit. And okay, you can always save and load for this fruit, of course. And notice that the realm of the fruits you get is actually the same as the realm of the region. So if you are in Yongling, you will be always level 5. If you are cultivating in Huafeng, you will be level 4. So if you are lucky enough to jump to those higher regions by, for example, Ring Quest, and then you find the chi spot there, you cultivate there, you will gain more fruits, higher realm fruits, and which grants you more stuff. And if you ask me how do I eat them, well, you can always get a good compendium or drink wine so that you have enough focus to eat those. But that's not the point actually at this time, because you can already learn skills from your masters. Why do you even need those fruits? Well, the answer is quite simple. In the Huafeng region, in order to beat those spirit logs, demon logs, you need fruits. So just simply because of this region, I think it's still nice to take this. And of course, the main reason is still before the main reason, let's say another reason is if you have lower fruits, if you have lower roots, the higher level enemies can almost always nullify your attacks, which basically half your damage, which is not a big deal, but still kind of annoying. So it's still nice to bring up your roots a little bit more. I know it still doesn't really work that well. As you can see, my character still very behind those roots. However, the true reason is this is a special destiny. It's blue. Look, it's blue. And it's really designed for this thing. How can you miss it? Tip number 3. Be nice to your admirer. So this admirer is basically you save this. Normally if you are a guy, then it's a girl. If you are a girl, then it's a guy. You save this person from some other evil cultivator who force them to do dual cultivation. And after you save them, they become your little admirer, or some may call it stalker. And even if you didn't trigger that event while you are in Foundation, first time you defeat Helsh Dankang, for example, you will find her in the cave of the Dankang. Basically, you save her no matter what kind of situations. And the reason why you should be nice to her is because this is one of the only person who you can always ask for invite, and she will never say no. And the reason why this is important for a Rogue Cultivator is you do not have a sect. So you cannot just, cultivate in the sect, which is extremely convenient. Granted, I just said that you can just find chi spots on the map and, manage to cultivate there, but it's not that convenient. Best way is probably just dual cultivate. And now the thing is, if you dual cultivate someone, it takes 10 days. However, if you invite someone, and granted, she will always accept, and it will take 5 days, and you can do 3 times dual cultivation. So it's 6 times more efficient if you do it in this way. And to be honest, in order to improve your cultivation level later on in the game, just by dual cultivation is extremely long. And best thing is you have someone who is always nice to you and will accept the dual cultivation request all the time, as well as the invitation. So just do this. And wow, there's a big one, but I will do that once I finish this thing. So see, 5 days, that's it. And yeah, normally it takes 2 days to walk to the location, and once you finish, you can immediately ask her out again. And so if you're fast, maybe in 1 month you can, do going out for 3 or even 4 times. That's like 9 times dual cultivation. So that's quite a lot. And I almost forgot to say, when you first time save this person, she is not considered as your friend, even though she likes you, but your relation to her is not that high enough. And in that case, you cannot, just open the map and find her like this on the map when there is little one here. Because only your masters, your friends, they will be shown. And that's why it's better if when you find her, met her anytime in the town, just mark on her. So for example, just click on this marker, and therefore you can always find her easier. And yeah, that's quite important. The fourth tip is kind of related to the second and the third tip. So just like the second, it can work very well with the second tip. Basically, if you have the unsettled cultivator destiny with Muqing as your artifact spirit and upgrade her at least to 3, Thorium 3, which grants you her skill, Chi Gathering Melody. Basically, when you equip the artifact with her, and you have 3% chance, which is not a lot, but still quite some. To generate chi around you every month. And this is good because obviously you can, for example, this is the chi pool that was generated by Muqing, and it has a lot of chi. And cultivating here, if I'm lucky, first of all, it will give me a lot of experience, and I'm unlucky this time, but if I'm lucky, I will gain a lot of fruits as well. And so it works with the second tip, but also it's also let's say a complementary for the third tip, because you need experience. It's so slow, even if you, let's say, dual cultivate with your little admirer all the time, but it still feels so slow. And with Muqing, this chi pulls one time quite a lot of chi, which is quite helpful. The fifth tip is actually about money. So you know that you can get a lot of money if you have all the red books, if you can defeating all those bosses, and then just go to the city and sell the red books from the auction, then you get a lot of money eventually. And yeah, you have a lot of money. That's not a problem. But the main problem is, in the beginning, how do you, start rolling? Because once you have some money, you have enough money to buy stuff, to do this and that, and it's much easier to start rolling. The question is, how do you get money from the very beginning? The answer is actually quite easy in the recent patch. Again, look at this guy, Sky Prayer Talisman. You will get a recipe for this talisman if you have done any kind of feng shui quest. Let's say the first or second feng shui diagram, you will definitely get the recipe for the Sky Prayer Talisman. So get your feng shui diagram either by defeating some of those bosses in those Yongling region, or attending some auction house in Yongling in the first 2 years. You will get some feng shui diagram, save and load a little bit, or maybe just yearly, it always come out in the first 2. And eventually you get this thing, and this thing is actually worth a lot of money. So first of all, the necessary material is very easy. This guy, come on, you get this thing all the time, you know that, if you have been playing in Yongling region. And look at, if you sell this, it's only 16 spirit stones. That's literally bad. However, if you use this feng shui diagram, which by the way, Sky Prayer Talisman, which by the way have become much easier to draw nowadays. Before it was very bad. Look at this shit. I drew it very badly, but still give me this much. And once I'm done, I get 15 talisman, each of them 216 spirit stones. And I know this doesn't seem to be a lot of money at this point of time, but in the very beginning, this is a big amount of money. Come on. That's 3,000 stones, just like that. Before it's 16 stones, now it's 3,000. That's a big jump. And this will actually give you a jump start for your spirit stones, so that you can go so much easier. And also, Sky Prayer Talisman is quite handy as well if you want to farm those bosses. Because if you remember, every time when a boss was spawned in those Lightning Lands, Drunken Flower, all this thing in Yongling or in Huafeng region, it will give you a small message here that says that, okay, the weather has changed. And that's exactly what this talisman do. So you just need to go to any place where there is, let's say, a little bit of chi, in chaos difficulty. But let's try it. And let's hope this works. Okay, so for example, we want to defeat Koto again, and when it appeared, it changed the weather to rainstorm. So let's try to go to rainstorm again. So try this. The art has been destroyed. I think that means it doesn't work. No, but it works. See on the top? This means the weather has changed. And in this case, the Koto should appear in the lightning land. Actually, because I just finished the event and this thing appeared, I think probably I just walked a little bit, and when the event happens, when I finish the event and come back to the main map, the signal appeared again. And you can see that this is the previous one I was showing you just now, and this is the one I get after using the Sky Prayer weather talisman. So yeah, Koto has appeared, I just need to defeat it again. And finally, tip number 6, use an Invisibility Elixir. This again has an independent dedicated video in my channel, and you can find its link in the descriptions. However, this basically solves all the problems for Rogue Cultivator playthrough in the way that you can get fruits from other people's sect, you can get experience from their pavilion, you can also get all the manuals, red manuals if they have. I mean, still okay-ish. But there's one thing which is unique that cannot be solved by all the 5 tips I gave you before. That is, how do you get those sect dedicated destinies? And yeah, if as a Rogue Cultivator you're not in a sect, you don't get sect destinies. However, if you use the Invisibility Elixir and break through in that sect pavilion, then you will gain the sect destiny as one of your options. And this basically really allows you to get everything that you can get from sect. So I think that would be it. And alright, thank you for watching, and if you like this content, please consider leave a like, subscribe, make a comment, and I will see you next time.